Hey everybody, Mike here from Mike's Computer Tips with another video. Hope everybody's doing good. Anybody have any computer issues you want to talk about? This video is going to be about computer chat. Any questions you have, let me know. See if I can help you. Friday night here. The weekend has just begun. Let me get this cam a little bit adjusted. That looks a lot better. Excuse me. I had a call from a customer recently. They wanted me to set up parental controls on their computer for their kids. And I set up 2 Chromebooks and 1 cell phone that the kids use for school. Well, actually, the Chromebooks they use for school, but the boy, who is about 11 years old, has a cell phone, and his mom said that he was getting into porn sites. So I set up, downloaded a parental control program, and we set it up where he's blocked from going to any websites that are inappropriate. And we did the same thing on the Chromebooks. Kids nowadays will get through parental control. Maybe, maybe not, but the whole idea is that the mother has an administrator password on the computer, and she has to log in order for the kids to use the computer. So I'm not saying that the kids can't get through it. It's always possible. If they log in and they change the settings, then they can get through it, but they need to know the password in order to do that. Now, the ones that I set up are set up for multiple browsers. So if they use, some kids are kind of smart and they say, okay, on Chrome, I can't get through, so I'm going to use Firefox. Say I'm going to use Microsoft Edge or another browser. The one that I set up will block all different browsers. So, and it's also a trust issue thing. I was doing a little reading about, you shouldn't, should you set up parental controls, for your kids, you need to trust your kids. And yes, you do need to trust your kids. If your kids are going to porn sites and stuff, though, you don't want that. So this will alert the mother, and it will block inappropriate content. But yeah, there's always there's a way to get through that. I remember kids in school who did this. That's why I say that. Yeah, and also parental controls have gotten a little bit better now. Than a couple of years ago. So, nothing is 100% foolproof. We're kidding ourselves if we said that. And sure, but the whole idea is to alert the parents and, Can you get through? Sure, there's always a possibility, But if they try to access, some type of inappropriate site, they'll get an alert on their phone, and it will pop up on the screen that the kid has gone to a site, and the mother will see that. So it'll be, was it anything 100%? No, I don't think there's anything out there that can be 100% foolproof. But the idea is that the mother will see that the kids are trying to, get through to that. And I think it's only the son. I don't, think the daughter is, and it's not just, like porn sites. It's also inappropriate stuff like violence and content, things like that. And, who knows what they're trying to do on there. But it's really just a warning for the mother, to see, okay, my son typed this in, and that's why this is coming up. Just to know that it's a deeper issue, I think, as far as trust with the kid. But kids are going to try different things. We all did that when we were younger. If you're not supposed to do something, that's something that, okay, I'm not supposed to, so I want to do it. And I think everybody goes through that. If they're 18 or over, that's different. Then they can do whatever they want. But, I understand the parent wants to, block the kid and all that. But yeah, like I said before, this is something that goes beyond. It's more like a bit of a trust issue. If your kid says, "No, I'm not doing that," well, in this case, most cases, an alert will come up. It'll be like, "Do you want to access this site? You are blocked from inappropriate content." And if you have a choice, hit yes or hit no. If you hit no, then you can just browse to another site. If you hit yes, you'll be prompted to put the password in to go. And can you figure out the password? Maybe, these kids are pretty smart these days, but the mother is the one that, has the password. And in some sites, like I told her, like business sites, you want to be careful also what you block, because if you block all personal stuff, then the kid can't do anything. And the whole idea of getting on the computer is you want to be able to do stuff, so you don't want to block everything. And so some of the things that we set up, like obviously for porn, block all, block violent content, business stuff, prompt me, give me a warning. That way the parent can decide if it's something that the kid should be looking at. It's just like a layer of safeguard. But sure, obviously, if you really tried, you can, get through something like that. The kid's smart enough. These kids know a lot about computers these days. When I went to school, we didn't even have any computers. That's going back to the mid-70s when I was in school. The big thing out there then was Betamax, and then the VCR came out. We thought that was like the greatest thing ever. Technology has, gone to big heights. I remember when the digital watch came out, people were like, wow, and the calculator. it was very expensive to buy a calculator when they first came out. Then, later on, it's like $5 a calculator, It's just like everybody had one. And then eventually, and then the computers had them. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You can get through if you really tried. Nothing is, 100%, but it is a safeguard for the parents, and it gives them, a layer of protection. Well, sometimes you have to go to take the kids to counseling or something to talk about it with another person. A lot of times, you may have an issue and you may get into an argument, with your child over what they're doing or trying to do on the internet. And sometimes you need to step back and a third person needs to, listen in. So I'm one that is all for counseling. It's always good to have somebody open-minded or somebody, that's in the child development, social child development profession to sit down with the parent and the kid and, talk things over. Sometimes a little bit of that goes a long way. There's a lot of ways that, people can get to your kids. And one of the ways is computer, that's the biggest thing. All kids are going to be on a computer. Hello, Pete. How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for the thumbs up. Anybody coming in the room, or when you leave, please do the thumbs up. If you want to have a question or a comment, leave a comment in there. Hey, Joe, how's it going? I just wanted to jump in here and do a short live stream for all my subscribers and non-subscribers. I wasn't able to do a video yesterday. I had a lot of things going on, but I'm trying to do a video every couple days for you guys. Just wanted to ask if I deleted my prefetch files, is it good to get rid of recent used files? Peter, I say, yeah, I recommend doing that. The thing is, it's kind of like the old, Windows 98, and all the Windows operating systems will generate a lot of files, and Windows 10 has the prefetch files, but there's temp, and then there's another area, folder, where it's a temp file, but you have to put in the percentage sign, temp, and then the percentage sign again in the run box. And there's another folder there. So I recommend going to 3 different places. One is the prefetch, and I usually do that last. But the first one I go to is temp, lowercase. Then I'll go to parenthesis, temp, parenthesis. Not parenthesis. I got thrown off. The sign that is a percentage sign. I'm sorry, percentage sign, temp, percentage sign. Go to do that one next, and then do the prefetch. I recommend doing that. But also, if you're going to do that, make sure you clear your history in your browser, because that's important too. You accumulate a lot of websites that you go to, and all that information goes in your browser. So if you're using Google Chrome, let's say, go to the top right and 3 dots, click on that and go to history, and make sure you do also your browser history, because you're going to accumulate, if you don't clean it, you're going to get like 1,000, 2,000 entries in there. And what Windows does is they just generate all that in there and they save all your history. So it's easier for you to get back to the websites that you normally use. But the downside to that is if you start getting a real lot of them, it's going to slow down the browser. So you're not going to be able, when you click on like Chrome to get on the internet, it's going to be slow and sluggish. So you want to clean that out. But another thing you want to do before you clean it out is you go to history and there's a drop down menu and it's going to say 1 hour or 2 hours a week, a month. Then the one on the bottom is going to say all of them. Make sure it's set on all of them. That way, whenever you clean it, you're getting all of them out of there. It's going pretty fast. Let me check just. So I hope that answers that, Peter. Every day I delete my prefetch and clean D drive. Clean D drive and use. Yeah, I recommend CCleaner. I use that all the time. I use VPN. That really. Oh, places. How private is DuckDuckGo? Good question. I use DuckDuckGo. Well, the thing about DuckDuckGo is it's a browser, and it's open to the internet. The only thing is they claim that they don't sell your, browsing information. Which is a good thing. Your internet provider, whatever that is, and Google will sell your information, and that's how they make money. They sell your information to companies, and they buy the information. So in other words, you're using your computer, you're on Google. Let's say you have AT&T. They're going to buy, take your information, things that you do, things that you buy on the internet, your browsing activity, and they sell it to companies. That's why when you get emails and it says, you just recently bought a men's shirt, let's say, you're going to get ads for men's shirts. I mean, that's just common. That's how they make money. But I use DuckDuckGo, and DuckDuckGo is good, and they block a lot of like inappropriate content, and it is a safer way to search the internet. And like I said, they say they don't sell your information, so I have regular Google, I have DuckDuckGo, and I use both. So yeah, I do recommend using that because especially for young kids too, if they're under 18, you should set them up with the DuckDuckGo. Yeah, Google. Well, yeah, because DuckDuckGo is I use. Oh, okay, Tor browser. Okay. Well, like I said, I can't tell you which ones buy your information or sell your information, but it is pretty clear that your internet provider and Google, both are in the business to make money off of what you do online. So they do. They are the biggest. I've been told that they are the biggest. That companies that do that. But they say, there's some more friendly browsers out there, which is DuckDuckGo. But yeah, I mean, the internet is Google, So one way or another, Google is in control, You get online, even if you're getting online with Firefox. If your Google Chrome is your default browser, you get on, you use that once or a couple times, doesn't matter, Google is the internet. They have the numbers, and whoever has the numbers, like they say, whoever has the gold, is the one in charge. But yeah, I mean, nothing is really foolproof. But DuckDuckGo is supposed to be safer browser. You can also use a VPN. I don't use VPNs because what happens with a VPN is they do hide your IP address, but it will also slow your internet connection down. And I always tell people, like when you go to coffee shops, you see everybody on the internet, and that is really not a good thing to do because it's very easy for people to hack into your computer and get your information and your banking and what you're doing because that's an open, um, connection. So let's say I'm a hacker and I'm over in Starbucks with my computer, or I could, I know, a little bit about hacking. I'd be able to find out what some of the people in there are doing. And a lot of people are, paying for their coffee and breakfast, and it's just not a safe thing to do. I always recommend that people stay away from the coffee shop with your computer, you know, like McDonald's, or now everywhere you go, they have free Wi-Fi. But you got to be careful because people can monitor your activity on that. And it's just, years ago when hacking first started, you had to know how to hack in order to get into somebody's information. Now there's programs that do that for you, so you don't even have to know anything. All you got to do is go to dark web and buy a program that will allow you to hack people. And it does it for you. So, that is not a good thing to do. And I know it's convenient and leaving in libraries and places like that. People will use the internet, and it's just not a safe thing to do. I never do it, and people do get their data, stolen like that. What about incognito? Incognito is good, but it's very limited. There's certain things that you can't do in incognito mode. You're not broadcasting, but you are limited in that. Is Wi-Fi running our brain as the frequency is higher, even to support high usage? Good question. That's something I don't think anybody really knows. Like when cell phones came out, they said, something in there is going to mess up your brain. I'm not a doctor, so I really can't answer that. But it's the way I kind of look at it is, that vaping stuff. People want to quit smoking, so it's, they either, a lot of people are turning to that vaping, and I don't think that's any better than smoking, because you're breathing in all this stuff still. You might not be breathing in cigarettes, but you're breathing in something else now. So, I think it's kind of like trading one poison for another. Yeah, that's a good thing, Peter. I would do that. I do that too. Years ago, we used to disconnect our computer thinking that if we pull the Ethernet cord out, then nobody can spy on us. Now the conversation is your phone listening to you. That's kind of the new conversation. A lot of people, well, even some experts believe when you're not on your cell phone is listening to you. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the new debate, and people are getting scared about it. Oh, I got my phone in my pocket. Is it whatever I say? Is it going through it? They say the same thing on I've heard a lot about like, going on like, when I get up in the morning, I have to turn my alarm off. So I say, Alexa, turn my alarm off. But a lot of people are thinking that when Alexa is not talking, Alexa's listening. That's another big debate too. And I don't have the answer to that either, because I don't know if Alexa is listening in at my house or your house. It's a big, some people just don't use that. It's a convenience, but it could also be, a dangerous thing in a way. There's a lot of free music on Alexa, so I might say, Alexa, play free music. And there's also advertising on there about joining, one of these music groups, and you had to pay for the songs. So that's a big question that I don't have the answer to. I don't know if anybody does. Somebody a lot smarter than me would probably know if that's true. But it's like anything else. We believe that something is good for you, and then 10 years there's no study about it, and then 10 years down the line they say, oh, that wasn't good for you. So it's kind of one of those things. I remember as a kid, it's is olive oil good for you? And then there's a big debate, don't put olive oil in your food. And then 10 years later, olive oil is the best thing for you. So, I guess you have to just use common sense on these things. But I put all those things in that same category as vaping and, is your cell phone, doing something to your brain. These things have always been up in debate. And, who knows the answer? I definitely don't. I can do an educated guess, but I couldn't give you an accurate answer on any of those things because I don't know. I never have a location on my phone, only when needed. Yeah, that's a good thing too, and I do the same thing. There's a lot of things that you can do on your phone and also on your computer, not to show your location. Don't send, data to Microsoft, and you can watch videos on that on YouTube, and you can do a lot of that. Spybot is kind of an older program. What I use is Malwarebytes. Spybot is kind of like, the beginning of when they first started coming out with those cleaners. I use Malwarebytes, free version. I recommend that. Use that, and also CCleaner, which I highly recommend. I've been using CCleaner forever. I mean, not just the cleaner part. I use the registry cleaner part too. So Spybot is kind of an older one. Uninstall that if you can, and put on Malwarebytes free version, and do a scan with that. And when it comes up, what it'll delete, prompt you to delete stuff. There's more people who don't realize there's a lot more malware than there is viruses. There is a lot of different free virus scans also, and I use Avast. That's a free one. But I always tell people that, I see a lot of times people will call me to work on their computer, and I'll see that they bought like the latest Norton product or something. And hey, that's okay. But, you got to realize that when you buy an antivirus, a lot of them will, slow your computer down because they're using a lot of Windows resources. So I use the free ones because they don't slow your computer down. I used to use that crack malware advice, but they have made it. Well, you don't have to use the crack one anymore. You can just go type in Malwarebytes free version, and they do have a free version that you can continually use. You could use it for, as long as you want, but they're always going to ask you, do you want to update to the premium one? And there's a little bit of difference. Premium, you're going to get the real-time updates and things like that. But I suggest you just do a search for Malwarebytes free version, download that one. And it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the premium one does, but it still does the job. And that's what I usually put on people's computers. I put the Malwarebytes free version, and I put CCleaner, and you'll be surprised how much stuff you'll find and be able to clean out. And then when I do a maintenance on somebody's system, I always do the prefetch and clean out the folders. And if it's a mechanical hard drive, I'll also do the cleaning on the hard drive. And if it's an SSD, I don't do too much with that. When Non32 came out, they said it was real good. I'm not too familiar with Non32. I know, like I said, I'm more into the free versions. A lot of people say the free versions aren't good, so there's always people that are going to knock it because they think if you pay for something that is something going to be better, and that's not always true. There's been a lot of studies that some of these free versions caught a virus that McAfee or Norton, let go and it didn't detect. So I don't recommend Non32 or any of the paid versions. I always go for the free one. And the best thing I found is the Advanced, AVAST free version. There's a version for Windows 10, and that's the one that I use, if I even put an antivirus on. So, look into Advanced. Some people don't like it because it keeps popping up on your screen, but it's really not that annoying. And like I said, I really don't use too many of those antiviruses anymore because I find Malwarebytes and CCleaner, and also if you do maintenance regularly, that's going to help you a lot as far as protecting your computer. Nowadays, if you get a virus, there's some really bad viruses out there, and a regular antivirus is not going to stop that. It's going to get through your antivirus if you get a bad virus. So your antivirus isn't going to do too much. And that's why I always do the malware and clean my registry out regularly. And programs that I don't use, I uninstall and try to keep your computer clean that way. I currently have the Windows 10 antivirus was installed. I think it's Windows Defender. Yeah, Windows Defender is very good. And it comes on every version of Windows. And I always tell people, you already have an antivirus, and it's called Windows Defender. It's built into your version of Windows, and it's a very good antivirus. And if you have that, you don't need an antivirus on your computer. People just think that, if I buy, like I said, if I spend $75, it's going to really do good stuff. Generally, what it does is it uses up a lot of your resources. So your speed is going to be not as good. But yeah, Windows Defender is great, and it will do the job of any antivirus. And yes, you do have an antivirus if you're using Windows 10 because it's built in. So you don't need to add one. How can I clean my registry when I type in Regedit? Well, it's a lot safer to use CCleaner to do that. That's the way I do it. I don't go type in Regedit. I use CCleaner to do it. If you look on your CCleaner and you go to the left, it says Registry Cleaner. You click on that, and it will do a scan and check for all the files that, let's say, like you uninstall a program or you delete files and stuff. A lot of that stuff will get stuck in the registry and it won't get deleted. But if you click on that registry option, what happens is it searches for your files. And then at the end of the search, it gives you an option to back up your registry. I usually don't back it up. I say no. And then it gives you a prompt that says, clean all these files or remove these files. Then I click that and then I remove all those files. So try to use the CCleaner version to do that. It's a lot safer than going into Regedit. If you don't know what you're doing in the registry, you can really mess your computer up and make changes in there that you might not know how to put back. So I always tell people that if you don't know much about the registry, don't go playing in there. So I don't go into Regedit and do that. If your computer's so infected with viruses and problems, the best thing to do is try to save your data and reinstall Windows again. Because all the cleaning and editing in the registry is not going to fix those problems. Because what happens is if your computer gets really messed up, then your registry is going to be messed up too. So I always recommend, backing up your data, doing regular maintenance. And if you really get something on there, which, a bad virus might be going around your area and you just unfortunately get it, Windows 10, will there be a Windows? Well, Microsoft had came out with a new version of Windows 10 not too long ago. So I don't believe they're going to go to like Windows 11. They're still on 10, which they do have a new version of it. And somebody called me not too long ago and said, hey, what do you think about the new computers with the new version of Windows 10? And I forget what it's called, but there's a name for it. It's like Windows 10 Plus or something. I forget what it was. But the quick answer is no, they're not. I don't know what they're doing in the future. But Windows 10 is going to be around, I believe, for a while. And then they figure out what they want to do. I always thought Windows XP was the best user friendly. Oh, me too. I loved Windows XP, and they could have stayed on XP, but with the way the internet is today, Windows XP is not capable of being on the network. We got fiber optics, and a lot of these internet companies are using fiber. More people are on the internet than ever. It just grows and keeps growing and growing. So, the operating system has to grow with it. So we have Windows 10. And I used to like Windows 98 second edition. I thought it was great. But yeah, the way they just keep on, upgrading. So, I loved XP. I love Windows 7 second edition. And, that was to me really good. They could have stayed on that. But with today's internet, you have to go to like Windows 10. There's a lot of different type of features, and which a lot of them you probably never use, but the capability of Windows 10 is adequate for the the internet today. And personally, I believe when they come out with a new operating system, they do it in conjunction with working with Google, companies like that, because you got to remember that there's millions and millions of people on the internet, and since Google is the leading browser and the leading way to, everything is really Google. So I believe that Microsoft works with Google when they come out with this operating system. But yeah, I thought the same thing, Peter. Windows XP was great. I even have computers still with Windows XP. I don't use them, but some people still use XP, offline. With some games will only run on XP, like the older games. So some people still use that just to play games on. I can remember when, 2 gigs of memory was like the best thing, and then you got 4, then you went, then 6, then 8. Now computers are coming out with 32 gigs of memory. Still that I use. Yep. I have a little mini laptop with an Atom processor. It's a Dell and it has XP on it. Sitting right behind me. But yeah, that was a very good operating system. It was like everybody had AOL and XP, AOL was really big. When I first got into computers, it was Windows 98 second edition. And I think AOL like 4.0 just came out. And then they would go to 5.0, 6.0, 7.0, all the way up to like AOL 10.0. And I used Windows 7 with my compact desktop I had, a Presario 5070. I still remember that. It was a big white tower. And I had AOL on there and Windows XP. And I thought this was it, That was like the latest, greatest thing. I remember those screens now. Oh yeah, me too. The CRT monitors. I remember we had to lug those things around. And it's funny when I used to live in New York and Pennsylvania. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I used to drive to Philly, and I had a supplier in Philly that would sell me those monitors. And try to buy a 25-inch CRT, big heavy monitor, carry that thing. I had a car full of big monitors, and back then we had the big towers and the desktops. And, things have changed since then. But the picture on those monitors, I think, were really good. It's just that the thing waited time. Now we have the what's it called, LCDs, and we even have TVs you can hook up your computer to. I have that on my editing computer. I have a 32-inch TV because I like the big screen. So yeah, those things were gigantic. I used to buy carpoles of them and carry them around. And when I worked on someone's computer, I had to carry it in the house, out of the house. I'm glad that they got rid of those things because they were heavy. And then, yeah, we went to the LCDs, which I don't think the quality is the same because those screens had better picture, but they're a lot lighter. And we all had to get used to them. And it's a lot easier to move these around, that's for sure. I think they had tubes in there. There was people actually that repaired them too. Now, you have an LCD. There's not many places that will fix them. It's a lot better, getting a new one. Sure, anytime, Peter. Great to chat with you. Till we meet again, thanks for the thumbs up and click on the bell so you get to see the videos first. I appreciate that. And you have a great, great night. And on that note, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. If you're new here, my videos are about all things computer related, computer repair. We talk about new technology in computers. We talk about how to maintain your computer, how to clean your computer, and how to do your own repairs. My name is Mike. Definitely subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment if you have questions. I try to answer all my comments. And hit the bell notification so you see it first. And give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, however you feel. And have a good day, a good night, wherever you may be. Thanks for watching.